Well, good afternoon, everybody. It has been a hot summer. And if you recall, probably about a year ago, I put out a video asking for ideas and suggestions on a mini split for my sunken living room. This is about a 24 by 24 with a 15-foot high vault. And the only source of air that this room has are the windows and the ceiling fan. And then the only source of heat that this room has is this gas fireplace right here, which is tied to propane, but propane can be expensive. This room, when it gets to the extremes of summer and winter, we really can't use it. It's either unbearably warm in the summertime, or it's just so cold and you end up using so much propane to maintain the temperature in this room. It's just not one of those things that financially you can do all the time. So I ended up finding a good deal on an EG4 12K mini split. And after doing a lot of talking with different folks, it seems like a 12K should be able to handle this room no problem. So today I want to look at getting that installed and see, can it make this room usable all year round? So let's get started. So I'll throw all the specs of the EG4 12K mini split up here on the screen so that you can see what they are, the heating and the cooling BTUs, which should allow me to be able to maintain a comfortable temperature in this space. Now, the mini split that I got is not a hybrid. They do make AC and DC mini splits, which allow you to connect solar panels directly to the mini split and be able to power during the daytime when the sun's shining directly from PV. I didn't do that because I'm going to be wiring this mini split directly into my home solar system. So I want to be able to just utilize that power, and the placement of where the outdoor unit is going to be really doesn't allow for a lot of solar panel coverage. And also, I'm going to be interested to see, how does a mini split work in the Michigan winters? I know I'm not the first person to install them in Michigan, but this is the first one that I've done. I've only ever seen pictures. I've only ever seen videos of other folks installing them, seen them in hotels and that kind of stuff, but never installed one myself. So I'm very excited to be able to see and bring you guys along on this installation process. So we're gonna look at installing this unit up in the front corner of the family room, where it's farthest away from the opening to the rest of the house, so that this can end up not just blowing air from here all the way over to there. And EG4 does give you a template that you can use to find your mounting points. It also points out where your hole is going to be for your refrigerant lines, condensation lines, power lines, drain line. They do give you dimensions of minimum spacing that they need. So they need about 8 feet from the floor. I believe it's about 5 inches from any wall, and then another 5-6 inches from the ceiling. In my space, we're going to be looking to actually bump up the floor at some point in the future and raising it to that top of that wood rim. So I'm going to use that as my floor for right now and measure up 8 feet to mount up there right now. So my 8 feet is right about there, and we'll end up leveling it out off of that. Now, because I have a bay window over here, I do have a roof jutting out over the bay window that I need to pay attention to, and I know we're going to be really close with our drain hole. I got like an inch away from that thing, assuming that that works. There's my 8-foot mark. There's a stud there that I can't use, but there's a stud here and a stud here. So that's level. There's my 8-foot mark. So there's that hole for here. And hole here. Super fancy. That's right. What I want to do first is do a pilot hole outside just to make sure that I am clear of that roof line. Oh, crapper.
What?
Yeah, the bit's stuck in the wall.
That's fine.
So note to self, when you're trying to drill a hole through a 2x6 wall, get the right bit. Got it.
Got it.
Woo!
I'm take a picture of it sticking out in the wall.
Oopsies. Let's go outside and make sure. I don't even see where the hole is. Is it above or just to the?
It's just to the right. Isn't it the right?
I don't know.
Let me go put it through.
You can.
If I can.
Just don't lose it. Yeah, so you see what I'm dealing with here. I have limited space, so I need to be away from that edge so that the line set can come out and down. So I'm really hoping that I am clear. Okay. Oh, good. So we're up above. Right there. So that's perfectly fine. So then we'll be able to come straight down. Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you, Lord. I was worried about that. That'll give us plenty of room. We've got one screw right here to remove the bracket, and then it latches in down here on the bottom. I believe this screw is just for transportation. So there's our mounting bracket. And so yes, it's got hooks on top and then it latches in on the bottom. Okay, so obviously the first thing that you need to do before you start drilling any holes into your wall is make sure you're not near any electrical lines. I know for a fact that almost none of these walls have electrical lines in them because the previous owners were lazy. But don't get me started on that. So we've got our 4 marks here for our different holes for our bracket. And so we will end up being something like that. Wow. Woo, that would have been fun. That would have been very fun. All right. Bracket's all hung. This isn't going to be floppy anymore. So now we work on our hole right here. 2.5 inch is what's recommended for the 12,000 BTU. I only have a 3 inch, so we'll just go with that. We'll do a starter hole on this side, and then we'll go outside, and then we'll angle up from outside because we need to make sure that we have a downward angle for all the water drainage because you don't want anything backing up inside the house. This would be so much easier closer to the ground. Did a horrible job of insulating this wall. Look at all that airspace. It's like they only put in 2x4 rated foam for a 2x6 wall. Horrible. Well, we got a nice downward angle. All right, so there's a couple things we need to do on the back of this unit before we can mount it. This drain line by default comes on the opposite side of the line set. So we'll have to come in here with a pair of pliers. And I don't know if you can see that, but there is a pipe clamp right back in there. We'll have to remove that and then reconnect our hose
right there. We'll pull that drain plug, that black plug, put it on the other side, close it all off, and put our drain over here. So then our line set and our drain are on the same side. We'll also have to run our electrical line. I believe it's supposed to go through this hole right here, but there's no wire cable clamp that I can see that came with it. So I have a bunch of cable glands, M20 by 1.5, that I'm going to use to put in here so that my wires can feed through it and not have to deal with these sharp edges at all. There we go. So now my wires will just feed through here and they'll pinch down and hold it in place so that the wires can't come out. And while we're on this side, I'm going to pull that drain plug. It's underneath the line set. Come over to the drain side. Oh, it's just a twist lock. That's kind of nice. So it's not even a pinch. Very nice. So we'll take our drain plug, seat that over here. It almost needs like a screwdriver or something to help seat it. Boy, nothing should leak from this thing. Good grief. All right. Drain plug seated. To be able to see what I'm doing over here, I am going to bend this line set. You need to be very, very careful that you do not kink this. Very, very careful. You kink this and you're done. So Lord, please don't let me kink this. Okay, seems good, seems fine, hopefully. We've got our hooks. We'll push the drain line. Oh, it locks it too. I don't know if you probably can't see jack squat, but right here. So you don't need tools anymore, it's just a finger latch that you press and then it locks into a piece of plastic that juts out of the unit. So then everything is locked together. So we've got our line set, our drain hose. Let's run our electrical line down through that grommet. Flip the whole unit over so then we can wire up the electrical on the inside unit and then lock it into place. So I'm going to feed the long exposed end right through our grommet. Everything else is bundled together. Both sides are the same color, so it doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to tighten this down. I might have to make some adjustments before we mount it to the wall, but at least it's not going to go sliding. Pop the lid. It does hold itself open, which is nice. It does have built-in vents that you can remove and clean. But we need to get right here for our electrical. So here's our terminal block. We've got number 1, 2, 3 and ground. Number 1 is brown. Oh, and they're fork terminals, so you don't have to take the screw out all the way. That's nice. Let's see, number 2 is blue. And ground is the only one that actually has to come off all the way. I think our line's supposed to go under that. It is. So this is a cable clamp. There we go. So that's all clamped down. I don't know what this gray wire's for. So put that there. Close this up. And we can close it all back up. So we're going to take and bundle all this stuff up together. We're going to use this vinyl tape that comes with the mini split, and we're going to wrap everything together, keep it snug, and this also has, I believe, a UV protectant on it. And the very beginning of this is sticky, so that helps get started. Keeping it snug. but having the drain line on the bottom so that it drains out properly. And then you'll want some tape to keep it from unraveling. I think I'll just tear and tuck right now. But this should be plenty to get outside. But I also need to leave these exposed so that I can connect the main line set here. So that should be good enough. The manual does say to put the wall cuff in place. So we'll put that on first. That's supposed to help protect the wall and all your lines as you're feeding them out. And it'll help seal up nice once everything gets run through and closed from the outside.
Here.
I wonder if this is supposed to be for the outside. So if I pull this apart, put this outside, ouch. Well, that's the indoor unit. Yeah, so that collar has to go on the outside because it's going to stick down below.
Right, and
keep it from seating. I mean, it looks like it's got proper spacing and everything, so I guess we head on outside and sweat some more. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's horrible outside right now.
Even doing this was hot and sweaty. My phone or my watch shows 84 right now. All right, let's head outside and get this thing done. So we've got our line set coming out of the wall. We've got our little coupler thingy, spacer, whatever. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to go on the outside. And then I can caulk and seal. See, that looks better.
Yeah.
And then yeah, caulk around the outside. But we've got to connect, take our tape off because the tape is kind of just holding everything together. We've got to connect the drain line. So can you hand me the drain hose, please?
Drain hose.
Thank you. I didn't see any clamp or anything inside. It looks like it's just a pressure fit. We'll pressure fit our drain line, and you'll actually feel it lock in place when you push on it. Drain line needs to stay on the bottom. Now, the line sets that came with the inside or the outside unit, I'm used to seeing one big monster line set, but I'm guessing that people were having problems moving them around and bending, and they were afraid of actually damaging things. So they actually split it up into two separate line sets. You've got a 1/4 inch and then a 1/2 inch line set. And I wasn't really paying much attention. The line set diameter is actually thinner and thicker. So we will slowly start to bend this down one at a time. And I am going to end up getting a cover that'll end up going all the way down. I don't have that right now. This 1/2 inch line set is going to be a little bit funner. In fact, I'm not gonna do all of it just yet. I'm gonna get it connected. So can you hand me up the 1/2 inch line set, please? Thank you. And then the channel locks and the crescent wrench. So these do just thread together. They have caps on both sides. Unthread the caps. And then again with these, you got to be very careful. Don't want any bends, any kinks. I believe they give you a 16-foot section of this. I'm not going to unwind all of it because whatever's extra might end up being wound up right behind the outside unit. And you want to make sure that you're not cross-threading this at all. It almost sounds like there was refrigerant in the line.
Yeah, I heard it.
Because I heard it hiss out. Now there is a specific torque spec to this. Unfortunately, I don't have any way to torque with wrenches like this. So I'm just gonna snug it up. All right, snug. And we'll go ahead and do the 1/4 inch line. Since I'm already up here, it did come with insulation wrap to go around these connections up here. So we will end up wrapping that, but I need to make sure that there's no leaks first. There. Now hopefully you can actually hear me this time as opposed to all the talking I was doing up there. So we need to mount the outdoor unit now. And I can't remember if I read it on the manual or where, but recommendation is 18 inches if you're in a snow-prone area. So you want it 18 inches off the ground. In the past, Signature Solar used to charge for the wall mount bracket, but now they're including these in at least the 12,000 BTU units. I'm assuming it's all mini split units. So we're actually going to use this to mount it up off the ground, 18, 20 inches, and it's actually going to be perfect because it's going to end up going right into the sill plate so that we know we'll have a good solid connection from our bolts for our mounting bracket. So we're going to kind of split the difference between our downspout and our disconnect, hang it, and then the brackets just really just slide onto this wall mount bracket. So it's actually pretty simple. So it doesn't come with instructions, but it's got the bracket that mounts on the wall. It does have a nice level built into it, which is nice. Bolts and masonry anchors, as well as spacers to help keep the legs level once you hang it off the side of the building. And then you have what look to be isolating spacers for the bottom of the mini split, bolts, nuts, and washers to fix it to the brackets. So we're going to end up going right about here. So we'll pre-drill, grab our bolts, put the bolts in, and then we'll hang our brackets on here. So we got it all on there, nice and level, about 9 5/8 from the disconnect, as well as the downspout. Added some caulk behind. So now we should be able to just take these and slide them over. And then they're adjustable based on the size of your mini split. So if we come over and measure the distance of the feet, we're at 21 inches center to center, it looks like. So there's 21 center to center. We probably want to slide it a little bit. Right there is pretty good. 21 center to center. We'll adjust once we get the unit on it. So these are our little bumpers that'll go on the back of the brackets. And then you've got a pair of these, which actually go on the bottom of the brackets to lock the bracket from bending and moving. So you'll slide one in on one side, one in on the other side, and tighten them down. Rinse and repeat. And in the indoor unit box, it's got a bag of little accessories. It does come with an Allen wrench that you'll use to open up the outdoor unit so that refrigerant can flow. But that Allen wrench can also be used to tighten up these bolts. And set the unit right on. All right, so we'll lift up and place our spacer in. Nut, washer. And again, this is what I'm assuming because I didn't see any instructions, but this is what makes sense to me. And then washer, lock nut. And we'll tighten everything down once I get all the other ones on. And we got everything tightened down, evenly spaced. So that's good. And we've got space in the back for airflow and extra line set. So we're to the final connections, which is awesome because it's hot out here. So we've got 2 electrical connections plus our 1/4 inch and our 1/2 inch line set connections. So I'm going to do the line set first just because it's lower. We can then, once that's done, we can then wrap our lines coming down, get all that out of the way. So I'm going to remove the cover. Looks like just 1 screw. Oh, that's kind of neat. So they give you cotter pins to actually help lock it in from unthreading. So I'll have to put cotter pins up there once we're done. I do have the line sets wrapped behind. The lower line set is my 1/4 inch, so I'm going to do that one first. And again, you need to do this very gently because you don't want any kinks at all. And then again, no cross threading allowed. Snug it up. We'll grab the 1/2 inch. And again, just moving gently so that you're not going to kink anything. I don't like using channel locks for this. I would rather use a crescent wrench, but I don't have a crescent wrench large enough. So before we get everything opened up from the line set side, I want to hook up the electrical. We've got our power coming from our AC disconnect just on the other side. And then we have our line going into the head unit. So we're gonna pop this cover off so we can see exactly what we're supposed to get into. Bugs are everywhere right now. And I dropped a screw right here again. Okay. So we've got our line on our neutral tightened down. So you don't need ring terminals for those, which is nice. We'll add the other ground line in a second. I'm going to grab a grommet for here so that we can feed our power line to the inside head unit up in here. Okay. So just like on the inside, we're connecting by numbers. So we'll start with number 3, and then blue is number 2. Blue is number 2. What color is number 1, everybody? Brown! Yay! It's so much easier though than the straight wires. I mean, if I had fork terminals, I would have used those instead of the ring ones on the other side. Okay, now we've got our tiny little ground line that has to meet. Oh, I almost lost it. It's very tight trying to get everything in there. Cover's back on. Wired connections are all made. Refrigerant connections are all made. So the last thing that we need to do to test everything is to open the valves, release the refrigerant into the lines, and make sure there's no leaks. So remove the caps. And then rotate counterclockwise until it seats. Okay, put your cap back on and snug it up. before we open up the other one, we're just going to check and make sure there's no leaks. Just soapy water mixture, looking for any hissing, bubbling. That looks good. So we're just checking again for leaks on the 1/4 inch line. Looks good. Okay, so now we'll do the 1/2 inch line. Till it stops. That looks good. 1/2 inch line looks good. Since we're up here, we'll grab our cotter pins. And slide them in. It locks them in place so it can't start unthreading. Oh, look, they give you an extra. That's nice.
In case you drop one inside of the machine.
Inside of the machine or in the grass or whatever. Okay, everything's connected, everything's opened up. I do have to wrap the line still, but I'm kind of antsy. I've been working at this with Jess's help for the last 6 hours. It's too hot. So we're going to throw the switch and see if it works. All right, Jess is inside with the camera. I'm gonna turn the breaker on in 3, 2, 1, boom. And she's gonna press the button on the remote. I hear beeps.
It's in Celsius.
Yeah, I know, we have to change that.
That's what I'm trying to figure out how to see if it'll turn on. Because I don't know what 24 degrees Celsius is.
I need the book. We got power to it, so that's good. So the unit out here is running. I hear sounds coming through here. It's actually ramping up out here. Just did the conversion and it's actually at 73 degrees Fahrenheit. So I just have to figure out how to convert it over to Fahrenheit. But it might be one of those app settings that I need to download the app in order to make that change. So now we just have to let it run and see how long it actually takes to cool the room down. It is 6 o'clock on the nose. Yeah, tell us what it says up there.
81.
So it says 81 at the thermostat at the landing. So we'll just let it run and see how it goes. And then while it's doing its thing, I'm gonna come through and wrap all these lines, put the insulation at the connections up there, and just wrap them coming down. I do need to get a conduit cover kit to just make it look a little bit nicer. So I'll order one of those. But I'm looking forward to actually enjoying that space now. Well, it's been a month since we installed this mini split in our front room. You can see I did put the ducting over top of the line set just to give it that, somewhat finished look. And I will recommend, if you go to install one of these, get the ducting ahead of time so that you can install that before you run the line set. It'll save you some hassle. But it's been awesome. I mean, we've been able to actually use this front room. We've had movie nights again in the summertime, enjoying the space as a family because it's not 1,000,000 degrees in there. If we take a look at the app for this unit, you can see we've used about 33 kilowatt hours of power.
If I switch to the year view, 20 kilowatt hours for June and 13 for August. And if you think about it, when the house air conditioner runs, that's like 4,500 watts just from the outdoor unit itself. And then you've got the blower for the forced air system. So you're looking at like 5,000-ish watts just to run that. And that adds up very quickly. Where this, it's 500 to 700 watts when it runs. Significantly different in usage and in ultimate price. Plus, when we're not in the room, we can just turn the temperature up so that the air is not running as much. I did come to find out after I had everything all installed, if you want to change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit, on the back of the remote, there was a set of instructions on how to switch the unit to Fahrenheit, and then you can also do it in the app. Now, the app and the remote are two different things. They don't work together in tandem. It would be nice if they did, but I think I figured out a way to make them work somewhat together. So I programmed the app kind of like I would for any scheduled thermostat. I go back to the main page of the app and I hit scene, and I can create multiple scenes or schedules for when I want daily or weekly routines to be triggered. Whether that's temperature, whether that's switching from heating to cooling, whether that's turning on and off the little temperature indicator on the side of the unit. You know, at nighttime, I don't need to see that it's 75 degrees on the unit and have it illuminate the entire space. So I can turn that off. Great example, my 2 p.m. weekday shift. So where I live in the summertime, I get charged more between 2 and 7 o'clock during the weekday. I think it's like almost 1.5 times my normal rate. So I try to reduce as much usage as possible. And I haven't had the ability to wire this into my solar system yet. It's still running off of the grid just because that's the grid box right back there. So it was easier to connect into that. I just have to get some extra conduit and run some line to tie it into my existing solar system. So for the time being, at 2 o'clock during the weekdays, I need to change the temperature on this to not have it use as much power. So I can come in here, I set the temperature to 82. Before I knew how to change the actual unit from Fahrenheit to Celsius, I had programmed in, always make sure it's displaying in Fahrenheit, and then I made sure that it's in auto mode, which I'll get to that in a second. But you can control almost every aspect of this unit on a schedule. And so I've got, my different schedules to run. And the way I can use the remote is my override. So if, we need to drop the temperature a few degrees in the front room because we're gonna go use it, we can use the remote, it's right by the door, turn the temp down a few degrees, and then once it hits the next schedule, it kind of resets. So that's how I kind of figured a way to make it work where both can work together. Now, one thing to keep in mind, which bit us, whatever you set on this remote, it remembers on the remote. So when you go to press the button on the remote again, it uses whatever settings are programmed into this remote. So case in point. We ended up, you know how I said that we needed to test the heating function during the winter time? Well, yeah, so when it's dark in the room at 11 o'clock at night, and you just see the remote and you see the red button, you think that means power because you can't read the little label. But if you read that little label, it says heat. And so my wife saw the remote, she thought it was the power button, and she hit that, And then she adjusted the temperature. A few days later, I walk into the room and I'm like, why is it so hot in here? And it was because it had been running heat for the past couple of days. Because I didn't have any mode programmed into my schedules. So it just changed the temperature based on the schedule, but the remote said that you needed to be in the heat mode. So that's why a minute ago you saw that I had programmed in mode auto into my schedules. So anytime you make changes, you want to make sure that you're looking at it to see what is it actually doing. Otherwise, you'll end up heating a space when you want to cool the space. I was actually worried about how much noise this outdoor unit would actually put out. I'm just used to hearing the unit for the whole house. And you know, the brrr and that monster fan spinning. But this thing is just so quiet. You walk 10 feet away and you don't even know it's running. From the entire installation process, it really went smoothly. I mean, the only friction points that I think that I had in installing this whole system were some of the tiny little screws that you had to pull out and put your ring terminal on and then screw it back down. Because I ended up dropping those tiny screws not once.
This is where the magnetic oh, this is where the magnetic tool fails you.
Not twice.
Oh, he almost did it again. Oh, doggone it. Stupid fly. So there it is right there.
But 3 times.
Okay, so let's try this again. Like that. Doggone it.
So if those could be adapted to be like the latch Wago style connectors, I think that would really save a lot of potential frustration from people. But I love being able to use this room again. It's been a long time coming. I mean, we've lived in this house for almost 15 years now. And the only time we could use this during the summertime was when it was cool outside and we could open the windows, because otherwise it was just unbearable. So, yes, that's a win for me. I'm gonna wrap this up because it's 86 outside, and the only reason I'm not recording this inside is because we've got family and they're making a whole lot of noise. So you get to hear the chickens clucking in the background, the wind blowing, the cars drive by, and I get to stand here and roast, talking about an air conditioner mini split. I will say that if you've got a space in your house that you need conditioned, that you really don't have a good way to do it right now, or you're looking to save money and not have to worry about some of those whole home air conditioner units, I would definitely take a look at a mini split. Do your own research, find out what kind of mini split might fit in your space. But the install, I mean, it might take you a couple hours to install. Took me 6 because I'm moving a camera around, but it should only take you a couple hours to get it done. And then you can have complete control over the conditioning of a space that you might not have had that in the past. So I'll leave links down in the description below if you're interested. With that, I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all stay safe and definitely stay cool. And we'll catch up with you later.